So if you're new to this channel, which you probably are because as of recording this, I only have 2 subscribers on my YouTube channel, my wife and I just recently bought mountain bikes. Since the whole COVID thing, we were looking for something to do together that would get us out of the house and into nature, which we both love. I mentioned mountain bike riding, to which she was hesitant about at first. For months now, I've been on a steady YouTube diet of all the crazy mountain bikers that are making videos of themselves doing sick jumps and barreling down single tracks and some of the coolest bike parks on the planet, and my wife was like, yeah, that's a no. However, for all of those trails, there are equally as many simpler fire roads and partially paved roads that get you out into nature, and I told her not to worry because we wouldn't be doing any of these crazy trails that these guys were doing. And in reality, I haven't ridden a mountain bike seriously in over 20 years, and I'm completely out of shape, so the idea of doing more than just simple rides is really not safe or practical. When I was a kid, the bicycle meant freedom. I would spend my entire time on a bicycle as my primary mode of transportation. For parts of junior high and most of high school, I'd ride my bike to school because I liked it better than the bus. Riding a bike meant freedom and escape, and I could travel farther and faster than if I walked. I didn't have to deal with public transportation unless I absolutely had to, and I wasn't dependent upon somebody dropping me off somewhere and picking me up again. And back in those days, we didn't have cell phones or Uber, so it made it even more difficult. I remember in high school, I rode my bike once 12 miles one way just to buy an obscure record from a record store out in Newport Beach, and then had to come back the 12 miles home, and I did it without even thinking about how long of a ride that was going to be. I was just in that kind of shape in those days. However, at the same time, or when I was about 12 years old, I started riding dirt bikes, and that became my newest love of life. And that didn't replace bike riding because we could only ride dirt bikes in specific places, and my parents were not going to let me get a motorcycle license at 15. But it did become an important part of my life. After high school, I went into the Army where I was introduced to mountain bike riding for the very first time while stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. I bought my very first real mountain bike there at the instigation of some of my friends. I remember crapping my pants at the price tag because it was a half of my month's pay at the time, which was probably around $400, and it was one of the largest purchases I'd ever made in my life. It was a 1991 Diamondback Topanga, and I rode that thing all over the place for the next 6 years. That bike went with me to Europe, where I rode there as well. And when I got out of the military and went home, I picked up my love of dirt bike riding again, and then moved to street bikes until around 2015 when I sold the last of my motorcycles. However, the itch to get back out on 2 wheels and on the trails was still there. I never sold that old Diamondback, but by this time it had been weathered and unridden for such a long time. So fast forward 2020, COVID lockdown, everybody's at home, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, I'm pushing 50, and I broke out that old Diamondback and started to putt around the neighborhood to try to get back in shape. It's funny because I feel so uncomfortable on that bike now, like the bike has shrunk over the years, and I know that's not the case at all. The bike's the same, so it's me that's gotten bigger. I hate running, I've never liked it, I'm too heavy and I have bad ankles, so biking is my natural alternative. I also remember that when I was in the Army, I would shave more time off my runs by riding my bike than actually running, probably because I enjoyed riding exceedingly more and would do it more often. And the recovery, because of the lack of impact, was faster. So my wife and I, we went out on our first little ride, and I realized just how out of shape I'm in. And so I've been trying to ride my bike every day just to get back into shape and to get my cardio to the fitness level that I wanted to be at and back up. So on today's ride, I was thinking that I wanted to ride from my house to this local high school that's just under 4 miles away. I figured it would be a good workout ride because it's a small uphill to the high school, and then on my way back I'd be able to go downhill if I was tired. It's a 280-foot climb going there, but desert riding presents its own unique sort of set of challenges. First, we don't have much in the way of bike lanes on the roads here, and people tend to drive really fast and erratically. So your safest bet is to get off the road as soon as possible. However, that brings us to our second problem, sand. And we have a ton of sand out here. I watched a guy a couple of years ago take a header on his Harley by going around a corner too fast, and the whole front end just washed out and flung him high side into the desert. So luckily my bike has a fairly wide tires and handles the sand really well, especially coming from that Diamondback Topanga, which only has 26-inch slicks on it. So therein lies our problems, right? An uphill grade, sketchy roads with no bike lanes, sandy trails, and lastly, wind. And we had a lot of wind today. One of the things that makes living in the desert somewhat manageable in the summertime is that we usually have a breeze, but then that can turn into a whipping wind at a moment's notice. Plus, getting caught in a dust devil is a whole other set of fun. So today's ride had all of it. The strong headwind, uphill climb, sandy terrain. Oh, and did I mention the gauntlet of dogs? Yeah, that was pucker factor 15. This is the second time I've had dogs on my ride. Today they were all in fenced yards, but a couple of rides ago there was 2 large German Shepherds that were just running loose. I saw them a ways off, so I was able to use a different route to head home. But that got me to thinking, should I be carrying pepper spray or something like that on my rides? What do you do? Leave a comment below and let me know. I don't even know what the legalities of that would be, or where do you even buy pepper spray? When I was a kid, I could usually outrun dogs on my bike, but that is definitely not the case today. These guys were fast. All right, so I made it. It's 3.42 miles here. I had a headwind the whole way, and of course it's uphill. So going home should be a lot faster, which we're gonna see now, although I don't think the battery life on this GoPro is gonna make it. So I'll just let it record and we'll see how much we get, and then I'll come narrate a little bit at the end. All right, so here we go. So it is fortunate for me that I do live pretty close to where I work. And if I get in a little better shape, I can probably make this work. To where I can commute. I'm gonna try a little different path home though. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I can already not hear the wind as it's blowing behind me. Yeah, this should be good. Figure out how to get rid of that strap. Yeah, we're gonna try taking this different road home. I know it doesn't go all the way in a car. Let's see where it goes. A lot of dogs, man. Anyway, thank you for coming along with me today, and please like and subscribe. I want to really amp up my YouTube game this year, and the support will really help me keep this channel going. Let me know how you're handling lockdown, and what are you doing to stay safe and sane during these crazy times. I wish you all the very best, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.